Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Yoeitz podcast. We continue with the Pele Yoeitz. We're on page 173 in the Art Scroll. We are on day 56 of Hachzik. We begin a new Indian. It's going to be a couple of days. It's called Chaim. It should be Abnev Esrim, but in the Pele Yoeitz it's a couple of days. Pele Yoeitz is going to explain the very important question which we should all be wondering and asking ourselves: what's the point of life? What are we doing in this transient world? What are we meant to accomplish? And ultimately, why is our time so precious? You see plenty of people that seem to be just having the greatest time, seem to be just chilling, taking it easy, enjoying the hot weather, sandy beaches, nice blue pools. But is that what it's all about? Or perhaps is there more? Most likely. Let's see about that. Pele Yoeitz starts off with the most counterintuitive, the most feather-ruffling words. If you want to live, kill yourself. What does that mean? Whoa, how could that be? They explain. Today we're going to work on the first explanation, interpretation. Tomorrow we'll work on the second. The first is that a person should not allow himself to become overly particular about stuff, about things, about inyanim in life. A person should be easy. He should be easy to please. He shouldn't be such a mafonik. He should be happy with simple food, simple clothing. You never know what life is going to bring, and therefore you should accustom yourself to not having everything, not living lavishly. Chaim. Says the Pele Yoeitz that if you're accustomed to having everything perfect and you need everything spitz and perfect and luxurious, so when times come you're not able to afford that, then you're going to do whatever you possibly can to afford that, which might include stealing, gneva, gzela, and if you want to go that far, you're not going to be emuna in your business, which is gzeil itself. You're going to justify, you're going to say it's okay, and you're going to say it's pasha pikuach nefesh. And ultimately, it's going to be a byproduct of the fact that you need such nice stuff, that you need everything perfect, and you need a big house, and you need expensive, luxurious vacations, and you need the highest tech of everything, and that's not only for you, it's for your wife, and for your kids, and for everybody, and you need a hedge fund to support your whole family, so you can go rob banks. And if you're not going to rob banks, you're not going to be dishonest in business, right? This doesn't happen by people that are just calm and they're accepting and they say it's okay and they say it's all going to be good and we don't need everything to be perfect, and we know, like the Chaim says, that this world we're just passing through, that we don't need everything spitz, that we don't need everything perfect and the right temper. Right? Sometimes it's good to just be simple and to accept and not have everything, as we call it, spitz. And because this is so basically what we're explaining is that the Pele Yoeitz doesn't obviously mean literal the sense a person should kill himself to live, right? But it means that you should kill the desire, the drive to have everything, kill that in order to live a simpler, more ruchnis diga life, and through that you will have more menucha and you'll have more of a wholesome life. And because this is so, this is wise for a person. Even if Hashem gave him great possessions and bounty and wealth, don't give this over to your kids. Again, you don't know what's going to happen. And the Torah tells us that if you teach your kids, if you show your kids what's good, your kids aren't malachim. A lot of people think that you can act one way, you can do every shtus and every avera, and your kids aren't going to look and they're not going to be influenced, but you have to be a complete fool to think that, because your kids pick up on exactly what you do. And if you think that if you wear the nicest coat in the winter and you have the nicest summer shoes and the nicest house and the nicest watch, do you think your kids are going to say, oh, I don't need the nicest, I don't need the best? No, of course they want everything, they want the best and be just like you. So what do you mean you're younger? We see this all the time, these mothers and fathers in stores berating their kids. You want this? Who do you think you are? Well, maybe look at the parent and say, who do you think you are? You're an idiot, right? Why did you raising these rotten kids that have no appreciation for anything, that nothing is simple, everything is complex, everything has to be the best, and it all comes from you, sick person. So before you start pointing fingers at your kids, look at yourself. The Torah, it's coming out of Yoeitz, I'm not making this up. The Torah Yidish, you're never going to grow mature out of this because you pumped this insanity, this style, these standards of living, the Seif Shem Melastem Esabrias, and in the end you're going to come to rob and kill people because they need to make sure that they can be able to indulge on the level that they were brought up with their fancy parents. So he brings a vart from Meir. Okay. Says the Palyois Afil Yoeitz Le Tab Yisrael Kolpanim Chayitzar Yichya B'cham Pami Mirav Avo Misnagli Hisratzes B'chol Haba Yisbal Lechem V'Toiv Lemizeh. So what we come out with over here is that obviously it doesn't mean that a person should kill himself literally. It means that a person should accustom themselves to a life of simplicity, to a life of pashtus, and with that they will have a real life because they're never going to have to go and do crazy things, dishonest things, gzela, and hurting people and even killing people, which seems a little far-fetched, in order to satiate and pacify their materialistic drives and needs. On the topic, it's very interesting. The Pele Yoeitz starts off and he says, which literally means that if you want to live life, you should kill yourself. And then he goes on, he gives two explanations. We learned the first one today, and we're going to see the other one tomorrow. But this reminds me of a story I once heard from my Manal, Reb Shagi Schiff. He told me about his grandfather, Reb Shaga Feivel Mendelovich, a story that over here, while the Pele Yoeitz justifies and explains how it's not really true, and he doesn't mean it literally, but listen to this story. The story goes that Reb Shaga Feivel, he was an older man, he was getting old, and like any man, even if you're a builder of Torah in America and you built institutions and you literally built from nothing, you built Torah and you built Yerushalayim and you mamish built a Mikdash Ma'at in the middle of nowhere, America, and to see what Rosh Hashanah built, Beis Raga Muncie and camps and Beis Medrash Elyon and Yeshiva Spring Valley and all the institutions, all the Torah with him and Rabbi Aaron Cutler, what they built in America, the founders, the builders of literally from nothing, they built majesty, they built Malucha, and how they did it is obviously a tremendous bracha. This Rabbi Chaim Volozhner, he saw this Baruch Kadshay that the last stanza is going to be in America, and that was through these Gedolim, these Tzaddikim, these people that sacrificed everything that we can be here today. They look around in Lakewood and Muncie and wherever you look, and there's Torah and it's flourishing. And BMG, it's really because of these iconic, incredible Gedolim. And even such a person, even a person like Reb Shaga Feivel in his old age, he became frail, he became old and sickly. And he went to the doctor. And the doctor said, he gave him a regimen, he told him exactly what you have to do, a daily routine. His family was awaiting, they wanted to know, he came back home with his child, with his gabbai, whoever it was that brought him to the doctor, and finally he got home and his wife and his kid said, "Nu, Tati, Abba, tell us what happened, what did the doctor tell you, what do you have to do, is everything okay, did you do any testing?" They were nervous. And Rosh Hashanah looked at them square in the face and he said, "You know what the doctor told me? The doctor told me that if I want to live, I have to die." And they said, "What? That can't be. Well, he told you have to kill yourself." And he said, 100%. And they said, "What do you mean? The doctor's a normal person. He has a PhD, he went to college, he has schooling. He didn't tell you to kill yourself. There's no possible way. So you're obvious, what's going on?" And I said, no, he told me I have to kill myself. And I was very upset, I was very disturbed by it. And the family started asking the gabbai, we're at the doctor, what did the doctor say? Does he have to go to an institution himself? Does he have to kill himself? And Shaga Feivel said, "I'll explain to what I mean." So the doctor told me, wake up in the morning, immediately go have something to eat, and then go rest. Then afterwards, go take a walk, and then you could do a little bit of your study, and then come back home and take another rest. And then after the rest, have lunch, and then go again on another walk, and then come back home and then rest. And then you can learn a little bit more, and you have to have some fruits and vegetables to balance out your meal, and afterwards take another nap. and then walk around, and then have some dinner, have some supper, and then take another little nap, then do some other activities, get around, move, and then go to sleep for the night. You need your rest. You need to regain your koiches, your strength, in order to have strength for the next day. Shaka Feivel says, you know what the doctor said, in other words? The doctor said that I have to kill myself. Because if I have to sleep all day long and listen to doing this and to doing that, I have one thing I need to do. That's to learn Torah. That's to help keep on building Torah, to perpetuate Torah, to make sure that the world is going to be able to sustain. And if I have to keep on going to sleep, of course health is important. And of course sleep is important. That's not what his point was. But if I have to constantly be running back to my bed and taking care of this and resting my eyes and going on another walk and eating these foods, and that's not called living. For me, that's called dying. That's called killing myself. That's a very high level. That's the level of B'Shagav Feivel Mendelovich, and that's why he was able to build what he built. That's why he was able to build Torah in a Am Zarua, in a place that there was nothing there. That was Rik, Hevel Rik. There was nothing. It was filled with literally nothing. There was nothing there. It was filled with nothing. And he made a treasure trove, a Gan Eden of Torah out of nothing. But that's his point of view. What does it mean to kill yourself? It means to take yes, we have to take care of ourselves. Not to think for 1 second we have to take care of ourselves. And Hashem says we have to take care of our bodies, our guf and neshama. It's all, of course, it's part of the Torah. Hashem says, but again, there's ways to do it. And for Tzaddik or B'Shagav Feivel Mendelovich, sleeping all day and taking these naps, for him that was killing himself. For us, we're not on that level, but what we take out of this Pele Yoeitz over here is reminding us that there's the main focus, which is Torah, Avodah, building our nitzchis, and yes, sleep and eating properly is all important. But we don't need to be perfect. We don't need everything to be the right temperature. We don't need to be a mefunik. We need to do it to sustain, but for a purpose, which is for the Eibishter.